Welcome again to the King's Podcast, the Wellness Dive with Lucky. I'm your host, Esther Lucky. On this first episode of King's Ramadan Diaries, we are joined by Dr. Hasan AlOgaily, consultant family medicine here at King's in Dubai Health. Today, he'll be taking us on a deep dive into healthy fasting during Ramadan. This might not be your first Ramadan that you're fasting, or your uptake, or maybe it's your second or third, or maybe it's your first. We don't know. You know. So, how do you know how to fast in a healthy manner? Well, that's why Dr. Hassan is here with us today. Dr. Hassan,
Hi, Esther. How are you?
good.
Nice
Thank
to
you for joining us here today.
pleasure.
It's your first time here, yeah?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Welcome to the war room.
I love your room.
Thank you. Yeah. So, Doctor, I'll start off by asking, what does fasting actually do to the body?
First of all, the holy month of Ramadan is the most special time in the Islamic calendar for Muslims. So, in addition to the physical benefits, what the month teaches is actually to promote self-discipline, to enhance our empathy, our generosity, as well as many other positive qualities. And what fasting does for the body actually has been looked at quite intensively over the last 10 to 15 years through scientific research, showing strong evidence that actually fasting has many, many physical benefits for our health. And it does this by essentially flipping the metabolic switch. And what that means is it kicks the body into using energy in a different way. And as a result of that, what happens is you get better glucose regulation, reduces insulin resistance, and it increases our resistance to certain diseases, things like obesity, like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, even degenerative brain diseases. And there is now new trials and research happening looking mainly at intermittent fasting on things like asthma, cancer, multiple sclerosis, and
Wow.
arthritis. So it's quite wide varied. We're always discovering new things about fasting, and it's a rapidly evolving area.
Mhm. What is the healthiest approach towards fasting?
The healthiest approach is to live a healthy lifestyle, essentially. It's everything we've always been saying, but actually doing things in a little bit more of a strategic or planned way. So, what we always advise people to do is to think about hydration. So the thing with fasting is that your window of opportunity to get hydrated is actually quite limited
Yeah.
because, as you know, it's between sunfall and sunrise.
Mhm.
So hydration is really important. That 1.5 to 2 liters of water a day is so important. I only know because I got a kidney stone during Ramadan one year. And it was because I got too dehydrated. And actually,
Okay.
incidence of kidney stones during Ramadan goes up. We see a peak during the year because of that.
Mhm.
And in terms of the eating, so traditionally, what you'll find with fasting during Ramadan is people tend to go for the high carb, high sugary, high
Yeah.
calorie meals when they and high volumes as well.
Mhm.
And what we want to try and advise people to do is to actually eat mindfully. And
Mhm.
eating mindfully means looking at reducing sort of the amount of sugar we have, to minimize the fried foods. You want to be going for a light meal to start with.
Mhm.
So things like fresh fruit, something with high water content, having 2 glasses of water, maybe go away, offer your prayers, and then come back and have your meal. So that gives you a little bit of a nice kind of gradual sort of intro into the afternoon. Otherwise, what happens is we get very groggy, we get very tired in the evening. And also sleep. Sleep is really essential. We've got to try and get at least 6 hours of quality sleep. And again, that can be quite difficult when obviously we want to be
Yeah.
waking up at night. And also, we must make sure we don't miss that suhoor, that waking up before sunrise to have that meal, because that sets us up for the rest of the fasting day.
Ramadan allows people to alter their normal daily lives. Can be through sleep, eating, and whatnot. And this can lead to things like maybe headaches, dizziness, sometimes nausea. Specifically during the first week of Ramadan, how can one adapt and try and manage all this?
So the best way is forward planning. Before Ramadan starts, we plan. Once you're in Ramadan, obviously we kick off. The most important thing is the things that I just mentioned. So to try and avoid those headaches, we talk mainly about migraine. So we see migraine incidence tends to go up in Ramadan. we need to be looking at how we are eating, how we are drinking, how we are sleeping, and how we are taking breaks throughout the day as well. The commonest things that kind of lead towards things like headaches is dehydration.
Okay.
So we want to try and avoid and cut down on salty food.
Oh.
Tea and coffee. Remember, tea and coffee is a bit dehydrating. So switch to herbal teas. That's a lot better than tea and coffee. And also the water. So if you get like 2 glasses of water in just as you break your fast, 2 glasses of water in before you open your fast for suhoor, and try and get 4 in between. Try and really get to that 1.5, 2 liters a day. And also think about, reducing sugary foods. We tend to kind of have all the family around and lots of desserts and things like that. And what that does is it really can impact. So we get things like dyspepsia, which is, indigestion or bloating. So just being mindful about how we are eating and drinking is really important. Generally, some people tend to sort of stay up late with the family once they're around. You've got to try and draw a red line. So you need to get that sleep in. Otherwise, you get really exhausted during the
Which is
daytime.
actually very difficult,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to ask you about exercise. Do you recommend people exercising or continuing the exercise routine that they're used to during Ramadan when they're fasting?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that question actually, because think about it, a month without exercise is actually not a great thing.
Not
So what we do recommend is that exercise is a very good thing to do during Ramadan, but not intense, like high intensity hit training or heavy weightlifting or things like that. If that's what you're normally used to, that's fine. But Ramadan is going to be a challenge to the body if you were to continue that level of exercise. So we recommend low intensity exercise, long walks. That's really good, especially if you're feeling a little bit tired, sleepy during the day. Going out for a long walk can sometimes really freshen you up and give you that bit of energy in a day. The best times to exercise is either 30 minutes before you open your fast, or just after you open your fast, or even late in the evening, like 11:30 or midnight. Having that exercise and then going to sleep actually helps the quality of your sleep improve as well. So yes, we would recommend light exercise during Ramadan.
Does running count as light exercise?
I would say it depends how you're running. If you're going to be doing really intense running, I would say I would advise against that. But
10 kilometers or so?
light jogging, that would be fine. That would
10
be okay.
kilometers is fine.
It's a bit long, isn't it? I can't manage that. Yeah, no,
What
but
about
short runs,
what about
would be
karate,
okay.
taekwondo, boxing? I've seen you do that.
Yeah,
Are
again,
you keeping up
I
that?
I take a break. I think that it's important to spend that time focusing on the fasting and the whole sort of uh, the psychological side to fasting. Remember, Ramadan is a great time to quit bad habits as well. I just wanted
Smoking.
to, yeah. So there have been studies done in Malaysia where they did smoking cessation introduction for men during Ramadan. They found that actually Ramadan and fasting for that month improved people's ability to stay off their bad habits afterwards. So have a think about what you want to achieve during Ramadan.
Look, when it comes to eating habits, I've seen people break their fast with very heavy meals,
Absolutely, yeah.
which I understand. They're hungry, so the first thing they want to do is just eat. Why shouldn't they be doing this? And how can they be disciplined enough to follow the advice you've just given us?
So the why is because if you think about it, your stomach's been empty for what, sort of 8,
12
10,
hours.
12 hours,
Yeah.
depending where you are in the world. Some people are more fortunate than others with their fasting times. But when you put so much food in your stomach after that fast, your blood gets diverted to the stomach to try and digest it all. Plus all the sort of reactions that happen with digestion and things and gas formation and stuff. So the sum total of sort of doing all of that is that you're going to get really tired, really tired. That kind of postprandial malaise, we say, really sets in, and it makes the rest of the evening a bit miserable afterwards. You're trying to kind of stay awake and
lazy evening until suhoor.
absolutely, absolutely. So how that the answer to the how is basically to really kind of separate your eating. So start with something like dates are fantastic. In addition to it being traditional, going back to the days of the Prophet Muhammad, actually dates are very high in fiber. They're high enough in carbs with essential vitamins and minerals that helps to boost your digestive system, helps with nerve function, muscle function, and just gives you that enough energy. Kind of so dates and yogurt, for instance, having that to break your fast with a bit of water and then going away, doing something else like offering your prayers, spending time with family before then going back and then having maybe your main meal. which again, we should be increasing our fruits and vegetables because of our digestive system. Some people suffer with constipation during Ramadan, for instance. So you need to have that fiber in there as well.
Now you've given us examples of the best foods to break your fast with.
Yeah.
What about suhoor?
Absolutely. Suhoor is the most important meal, and I can't stress enough how important it is for us. As much as it's difficult to wake up in the morning, we want to kind of get that few extra hours of sleep before we go to work. But it is that suhoor that's going to help us work more efficiently and feel brighter in the day, and actually helps with all that sort of metabolic switch that we're talking about. Otherwise, it's a warrior diet, one meal a day, and you're actually banking in that situation. Things like oats, bananas, watermelons. Watermelons have got 90% water, so things that are high, rich in water content is really helpful. But making sure to get that water in as well. That's the vital thing, getting that, enough hydration, and avoiding any tea and coffee.
Yeah, I was about to ask that
as well.
So if you avoid the tea and coffee, you're definitely going to get a headache, especially if you're used to that.
Absolutely.
How are you going to manage that?
It's difficult. It is difficult. I think that if you are somebody who is dependent on having high caffeine intake, then yes, have a little bit, maybe reduce it by 50% during your sort of breaking of the fast. But remember that tea and coffee are diuretic, so there is a higher chance of getting dehydrated. Again, higher chance of getting kidney stones as well.
At least you learned from that.
Yes, I learnt my lesson painfully.
All right, doctor, before I let you go, which is your take-home advice?
Take-home advice, enjoy the month. Ramadan is a time where families get together, you invite your family round, you're sort of spending time with the family there. And sharing in terms of doing charitable acts with the family together. The most important thing is to enjoy the month. Don't get too sort of bogged down about the difficult side to it, thinking about, oh, I'm hungry, or how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that. No, focus on actually the gains. Don't focus on what you're going to lose, focus on what there is to gain.
All right. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard the good doctor. Enjoy the month. Focus on what you have to gain. Don't focus on the difficulties. And until next time, bye.